On a seemingly ordinary Saturday evening, the atmosphere at Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport was calm, with travelers preparing for their journeys and airport staff going about their routines. Among the many flights scheduled that night was Delta Flight 2809, bound for San Francisco. Passengers, ranging from families on vacation to business travelers and students returning home, boarded the aircraft, expecting nothing more than a typical cross-country trip. The cabin lights dimmed as the plane taxied to the runway, and the familiar hum of anticipation filled the air. The flight itself was uneventful, with passengers settling in for the journey. Some chatted quietly, others watched movies or read books, and a few gazed out the windows at the fading light. After several hours in the air, the plane began its descent, and the city lights of San Francisco sparkled below. At approximately 9:35 p.m., Delta Flight 2809 touched down smoothly at San Francisco International Airport, and for most on board, it seemed like just another successful arrival. As the aircraft taxied toward its assigned gate, passengers gathered their belongings, ready to disembark and continue with their plans. But just as the plane came to a stop, the routine was shattered. Suddenly, law enforcement officers appeared at the jetway, their presence unmistakable and urgent. The cabin, moments before filled with the usual post-flight chatter, fell silent as federal agents and sheriff's deputies boarded the plane. Their movements were swift and deliberate, and the tension in the air was palpable. Passengers exchanged anxious glances, unsure of what was unfolding before them. Without hesitation, the officers made their way directly to the front of the aircraft, heading straight for the cockpit. The sense of urgency was clear, and whispers rippled through the cabin as passengers tried to piece together what was happening. In a matter of moments, the co-pilot, Rustom Bhagwagar, was confronted and arrested right there in front of stunned passengers. Many watched in disbelief, clutching their bags and phones as the reality of the situation set in. The shock was immediate and profound. This was no ordinary flight. News of the dramatic arrest spread rapidly, drawing media crews and photographers to the airport. The scene outside the Delta aircraft was chaotic, with flashing lights, reporters seeking statements, and airport staff trying to maintain order. The gravity of the charges against the co-pilot quickly became the focus of national attention. For the passengers of Flight 2809, what had started as a routine journey ended in confusion and disbelief. Many were left searching for answers, replaying the night's events in their minds. What seemed like a spontaneous incident was, in fact, the culmination of a lengthy and complex investigation, one that would leave a lasting impact on everyone involved. The central figure was Rustom Bhagwagar, a 34-year-old Florida resident and experienced co-pilot. Bhagwagar, licensed for Boeing 737-500 aircraft, had a reputation for professionalism, making the allegations even more shocking. Former colleagues described him as meticulous and disciplined, adding to the disbelief surrounding his arrest. His background in aviation and previous residence in Texas painted a picture of a dedicated individual. The charges have left the aviation community grappling with questions about trust and hidden facets of character. As the investigation continues, Bhagwagar's personal and professional life is under intense scrutiny. The arrest unfolded in a way that seemed almost cinematic, yet it was all too real for those on board. The tension in the air was palpable as the plane taxied to its gate, and the anticipation among the passengers grew with every passing second. With the precision of a tactical operation, law enforcement teams coordinated their movements seamlessly. Officers in full gear waited just outside the jet bridge, communicating quietly through radios, their faces set with determination. As soon as the aircraft came to a complete stop, at least 10 plainclothes agents surged forward, moving swiftly and purposefully toward the cockpit. Their presence was sudden and commanding, leaving little doubt that something significant was about to happen. Passengers watched in stunned silence as Bhagwagar was handcuffed and led out of his seat. The seriousness of the situation was unmistakable. Every movement was deliberate, every gesture underscored by the gravity of the moment. Some passengers exchanged anxious glances, while others instinctively reached for their phones, unsure whether to record or simply observe. The efficient public arrest left the cabin tense and uncertain, a stark departure from the usual post-landing routines. Instead of the familiar sounds of seatbelts unbuckling and overhead bins opening, there was only a heavy silence, punctuated by the shuffling of officers and the low murmur of concerned whispers. Witnesses later described the scene as shocking and surreal, with law enforcement's presence dominating the atmosphere. The sight of multiple officers inside the narrow cabin, their uniforms and badges unmistakable, left a lasting impression on everyone present. For many, it was a moment that would replay in their minds long after the flight was over. After the initial arrest, agents returned to the cockpit to collect Bhagwagar's belongings and search the area thoroughly. Their meticulous approach underscored the seriousness and thoroughness of the operation, as they carefully documented and secured every item of interest. The incident served as a sobering reminder of the unpredictable nature of air travel security. For those on board, it was a day that shattered the routine of flying and highlighted the ever-present vigilance required to keep the skies safe. In the wake of the incident, both the Department of Homeland Security and Delta Air Lines moved swiftly to address public concerns and clarify their roles in the unfolding investigation. Recognizing the seriousness of the situation, each organization released official statements to the media, aiming to provide transparency and reinforce their commitment to safety and justice. The Department of Homeland Security confirmed that its agents played a crucial role in supporting the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office during the arrest operation. DHS emphasized that their involvement was part of a broader, ongoing effort to combat crimes that threaten the safety of the public, especially those involving vulnerable individuals. The agency highlighted its dedication to upholding the law and ensuring that perpetrators are brought to justice, no matter where the crime occurs. During a press briefing, a DHS spokeswoman delivered a strong message, stating, "Anyone who commits depraved crimes against a child will face consequences." She went on to explain that the department works tirelessly with local and federal partners to investigate and prosecute such offenses. The spokeswoman also reassured the public that DHS remains vigilant and proactive in identifying threats, and that protecting children and other vulnerable groups is a top priority for the agency. Delta Airlines, for its part, expressed deep dismay over the incident, reiterating its zero-tolerance policy for any form of unlawful conduct on its flights or within its facilities. The airline's spokesperson emphasized that Delta is committed to maintaining the highest standards of safety and ethical behavior for both passengers and employees. Delta also stated that it is fully cooperating with law enforcement authorities and will continue to support the investigation in any way possible. Both organizations underscored the importance of collaboration in addressing criminal activities that may occur in the aviation sector. They highlighted their ongoing partnerships with local law enforcement, airport security, and federal agencies to ensure that all incidents are handled swiftly and effectively. By working together, DHS and Delta aim to create a safer environment for travelers and staff alike, and to send a clear message that criminal behavior will not be tolerated. The unified messaging from both DHS and Delta was designed not only to inform the public, but also to reassure passengers and employees that their safety remains the highest priority. Visible law enforcement presence and attentive airline staff at airports serve as a reminder of the ongoing efforts to protect everyone who passes through these busy transportation hubs. The organizations hope that their transparency and decisive action will help maintain public trust in both the aviation industry and law enforcement agencies. As the investigation continues, both DHS and Delta have pledged to provide ongoing updates to the public and the media. Their commitment to transparency and accountability is evident in their willingness to share information and work closely with all stakeholders. Ultimately, these efforts underscore the vital importance of cooperation, vigilance, and open communication in ensuring the safety and security of everyone involved in air travel. The charges against Bhagwagar are grave, drawing significant attention. He faces 5 counts of oral copulation with a child under 10, charges that carry severe legal consequences. After his arrest, Bhagwagar was booked into the Martinez detention facility with bail set at $5 million. The legal proceedings are expected to be complex, with a thorough examination of evidence and testimonies. The case has sparked industry-wide discussions about vetting and monitoring personnel in positions of trust. As the investigation continues, the focus remains on justice and due process. The investigation began months before the arrest, led by the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Office. Initiated in April 2025, the inquiry involved gathering substantial evidence before moving forward. Multiple agencies collaborated, piecing together the case that led to the dramatic arrest. The process highlights the importance of thorough, multi-jurisdictional investigations in such serious matters. Authorities remain committed to transparency and public updates as the case develops. In response to the arrest, Delta Airlines suspended Bhagwagar pending the investigation's outcome. This swift action reflects Delta's commitment to ethical standards and passenger safety. The airline's move aligns with its public statements and cooperation with law enforcement. Delta continues to monitor the situation, prepared to take further action as needed. The response underscores the responsibilities and proactive measures required in the aviation industry. The arrest sparked varied reactions, especially among those on the flight. Witnesses described the event as surreal and unsettling, with law enforcement's presence leaving a lasting impression. The sight of Bhagwagar being led away raised concerns about airline safety and personnel vetting. Public discussion has since focused on the integrity of airline staff and measures to prevent similar incidents. The case has heightened awareness about safety, justice, and accountability in aviation. Many hope for clarity and resolution as the investigation unfolds. The arrest of Rustom Bhagwagar highlights the complexities and challenges within the aviation industry. The case has prompted calls for vigilance and stronger safeguards to ensure safety and accountability. Delta's response and law enforcement's actions underscore the need for transparency and due process. This incident may drive reforms aimed at strengthening industry integrity and public trust. As legal proceedings continue, the focus remains on uncovering the truth and ensuring justice prevails.